Been out there on the streets, we've talked to people, we've figured out what is really hitting home for people, and it comes down to this. It comes down to jobs, homes and families. And so when it comes to Labour, we've got lots of policies around them, but when I head out onto the street, the things that I talk about in particular when it comes to jobs, is I said that we're going to lift the minimum wage. We're going to take it from $14.25 up to $15 the second we get in, and then we'll drive it up to $16.25 in our first year. That resonates with a lot of people because we've been told time and time again that people are out there, they're working 40-hour weeks, and they're still feeling poor at the end of it, and a lot of them are on minimum wage. So by doing that, we're going to be putting $4,000 extra into their pockets, which means $4,000 per person that's on a minimum wage job back into the economy. So we're helping to boost the economy that way. We're also going to get rid of the 90-day trial period, because we've been told time and time again that it was a good idea to start with, but it's gone a bit pear-shaped on the implementation, and we've been told that there are some unscrupulous employers out there that are just taking people for a ride, and so we're going to do away with that. When it comes to houses, we're going to help to alleviate the housing crisis in New Zealand. We're going to build a pledge to build 100,000 new homes, new affordable homes, in the next 10 years. So that's 10,000 houses every year to try and help alleviate the pressures of buying a house. And like I say, we're going to make them so that they're affordable, so that every Kiwi can own their own home, because we see it as a bit of a birthright. You know, we've got enough land here. There are other people from other countries wanting to buy our land. We should have land available for our own Kiwis, land and houses for our Kiwis to buy. And thirdly is our families policy, which is essentially we're going to give a $60 a week best start payment to all new mums and babies first year, and that's going to try to help alleviate some of the child poverty that's around, and it's prolific. I remember when I was growing up, my mum, she used to get the family benefit, and it wasn't very much, but it used to help make ends meet when it came to school lunches, when it came to I needed a new pair of shoes or something like that. She would use that money to go into that. Well, this is the equivalent, but adjusted for inflation. So these days, $60, $20 isn't going to cut the mustard. $60 is what we've determined will be that payment. So we're doing that. And we're also helping out families by helping out the whole family. So our healthcare policy means that everybody that's under the age of 13 will get free doctor's visits and free prescriptions. And then down the other end of the spectrum, everybody that's over 65 gets free doctor's visits and free prescriptions. And then we've also thought, again, and wanting to help give families the best possible start in life, we're going to take care of doctors and prescriptions and dental care for pregnant mums. Because we've been told by doctors that if you can get in there early, if you don't make going to the doctor a barrier for either of these categories, then you're going to be more preventative in your treatment of healthcare, as opposed to just waiting for them to fall at the bottom of the cliff. And so that's what our policy is. So again, jobs, homes, families.
Thank you. And for Rotorua, what are the key issues, or what is the key issue that you've found here?
The key issue is growth. We've got none of it, and we need it. Our population isn't going anywhere. It's been stagnant for far too long, and we compare ourselves to Tauranga just over the hills, and they're going great guns over there. Even Taupō's starting to do really well now, and they're picking up, and yet again we're the poor cousin. Yet we used to be the people that everybody looked to. You know, at Rotorua we used to be the pioneers. We were setting the standard. We had tourism, but unfortunately something's happened in the middle there, and we're not growing. Our house prices are going down. I want to grow Rotorua again, and we need to have some really important policies in there to help with that. What Rotorua needs, importantly, is regional development. You know, we need to focus on the regions, and at the moment there's too much focus going on Auckland, going on Christchurch. They're rebuilding, we understand that, but meanwhile everybody else is suffering. And I was thinking about it as I was watching the national ad on television about how there was one team and they were rowing out ahead, and then there was the other team that were flailing. I was thinking, in a Labour state of mind, you'd actually stop and you'd help that team that were flailing, and you'd say, hey, come along, come and paddle with us, and we can all get there together, rather than going, see you later, and row to the finish line. That's exactly what National is at the moment. That's how I see it. National are out there, they're rowing a few people really quickly towards the finish line, but then down the other end, they're leaving these people to struggle. And in my mind, that's the majority of New Zealand, those ones that are flailing in the boat while National races to the finish line for themselves. The Labour mentality would be to go, you know what, let's just hold up for a sec, guys. Let's all cross that line together. Let's not just do it for ourselves. Let's try and take everybody along together. So what Labour would do, we'd stop and help the other boat. You know, even if it was national, we'd say, all right, hey, are you guys all right? Do you need a hand? If so, let's work together so that we can get to that finish line together. That's a Labour mentality, and for me, it epitomises exactly what National are about.
Is there an impression, an issue that's developed in your mind during this campaign and all the things that have happened so far that you would want to particularly highlight?
The issue of child poverty is huge, and I guess before I came into this role, I didn't know enough. You know, so I've spent the last 6 months going out, speaking to primary schools, speaking to community organisations, social service deliverers, and they've told me again and again, you need to help the situation. Child poverty is huge. There's 250,000 kids living in poverty in New Zealand, and 50,000 of those kids, so a fifth of them, are actually working, their parents are working. They've got full-time jobs, but they're still living in poverty. Again, it's that minimum wage thing that so many of our workers are being kept on. So if I do anything, I want my legacy to be that I help to do something about that. And I know that it's a problem that hits hard for here in Rotorua, you know. When it comes to deprivation, there's a lot of areas around the lake that are doing really badly, you know. There's a couple of areas that are doing really well, just like the boats. There's a couple that are doing really badly, but there's lots of kids that are living it rough, and I want to help out with that.